So sometimes we talk about stocks on the public markets that are high risk, high reward that work out. Sometimes we talk about stocks that don't work out. Sometimes we talk about stocks that are going to take a while to work out. And that was where we left Gold Mountain about a year ago. We've been talking about them for 6 to 10 months. Their plan was that they had a gold property. They had a good idea of where the gold was. The standard practice is to go out and create a big resource estimate, right? Over several years, raise money, drill, and then down the line somewhere, you start the move of actually trying to become a producer. Now, Gold Mountain went the other way. Gold Mountain said, we know there's gold here specifically, and we think that's enough to be profitable. We're just going to go in and get it. And then we're going to let the gold guide us from there as to where we should be moving next. Definitely an interesting business model, one that we said at the time had some risk. It wasn't the traditional business model, but that if it worked out, would rapidly accelerate development of this mine by a factor of maybe 4 or 5 years. So Gold Mountain went in, they pulled a bunch of ore out, and it wasn't returning them the grades that they were looking for. In fact, it was starting to look like maybe this project wasn't going to be profitable or economic. Stock went from $1.40 all the way down to 7 cents. Now, as somebody who talks about money-making opportunities for a living and is very, very careful to never tell someone to buy and never tell someone to sell, we lost money on Gold Mountain because we were buying while we were talking about it. Unfortunately, sometimes things miss, and this is what happened with Gold Mountain. It went down long enough and hard enough that people pulled out. Not everybody, though. Some people were buying in at that 7 to 10 cent rate, believing that there's enough there that this company would eventually dial in and start delivering a return. Well, fuck me running. That's what happened in January. These guys a day ago put out a news release that said in January they managed to pull out $2.3 million in revenue from gold out of the Gold Mountain project, and with an adjusted EBITDA of $725,000. Lordy, they came out with numbers that if they'd started out this way, this thing might have stayed up over $1. Now, what happened with the stock was it shot up from 7 cents to 24 cents. Fantastic return for people that got in Tuesday. Fantastic return for people that got in a week ago, 2 weeks ago. In fact, if I really look at it, excuse me, you could have gone in on this thing anywhere back to last September and you were making a double or more today. So suddenly it's game on for Gold Mountain. 3 million shares traded yesterday, 3 million shares traded today, and the stock is on a run. Now, does this mean it's going to continue on a run? Not necessarily. These are good numbers for January, and because this is a small mine in an operation where they've just got a new mining manager in there and they're still figuring things out, it's going to go in ebbs and flows. Am I telling you that you should go out and put all your money on Gold Mountain right now? Hell no. This is one good month, but this is a $10 million market cap company that did $2.3 million in revenue in 1 month and was EBITDA positive in that 1 month. That's interesting. And considering this thing was worth 100 plus million just a year ago, the current market cap of 10 million is a really interesting prospect. You don't need to be a wizard at mining to understand that there may be an arbitrage here. You don't have to understand what goes in and out of a 43-101 to look at a $10 million market cap versus a $130 million market cap, see essentially the same mine, but more progressed and now profitable, and think, that's interesting. If these guys can pull the same thing out in February and the same thing out in March and put together a quarter that shows substantial gold through their system and a higher grade through their system and more profitability, this thing will go, I think, bananas. If you're somebody who's been holding the bags on Gold Mountain for a while, rejoice. Good times seem to be coming towards you. If you average down along the way because you believe in the project, you're the smartest guy in the room. If you're like me and you just watched it drop long enough that eventually you said, I got other things to do, well, we are idiots, because Gold Mountain is in play, GMTN. Take a look at it. Take a look at those results. If you think that those results are going to continue the way they are, I would say to you that the current share price is a gimme. But hey, we've been burned on Gold Mountain before, and small mining operations where they live and die on the waves in and waves out of one little point of the project can be problematic. This was the risk that we talked about with Gold Mountain in the very beginning. It may have a great month followed by a crappy month. It may just be seeing where it should have been all along, and this may be the turnaround time. Either way, interesting. Keep an eye on Gold Mountain over the next few days. I think the next news release will tell you everything you need to know.